So next, I'm going to go over filtration. So filtration, this is used when you want to isolate solid from liquids. So on the right, I have a picture of a gravity filtration. So the basic concept of filtration is when you have solids mixed with liquids and you want to separate the two, you'll pour the solid liquid mixture onto the paper filter. And because of the filter, only the solvent will be able to pass through. So the solid will get stuck on that paper filter. So that separates the liquid solution and the solid in that solution. So the solid that is left the solid that is left behind is known as the residue, and the filtrate is the liquid that passed through the filter and went into the flask. So this can be modified in order to filter either the solid or the liquid. So depending on if you're interested in the solid or the liquid, you can modify the filtration in order to get the desired product. So there's a few different filtration methods. So like I said, that first picture was known as gravity filtration. So it's known as gravity filtration because you use the weight of the solvent to pull it through the filter. So gravity will drag that liquid solvent through the filter, but the solid will be left behind as the residue. So this is used when you're interested in the filtrate and not the solid that's left behind in the paper filter. So usually you want the solvent hot in order to keep the product that is dissolved in the liquid solution to remain in solution and not get stuck on the paper filter. So this is known as gravity filtration. It's like the most basic way to filter between liquids and solids. Next, vacuum filtration. So this is the picture on the right. This is used with a vacuum. So the solvent is forced through the filter by a vacuum that is connected to the flask. This is used when the solid is the desired product. So you use vacuum filtration because the vacuum will suck as much of the fluid from that filter. So because there's a vacuum seal, the vacuum will suck as much of the liquid off the paper filter and off the residue into that flask and leave as much of the solid residue behind. So instead of just allowing gravity to filter it, you use the power of a vacuum to suck as much of the liquid as possible. So usually you'll use this when you want the solid residue as the product. So that's vacuum filtration. So there's a step called recrystallization. This is used when you want to further purify the crystals in the solution. So because the initial product that you obtain is impure, there may be like other stuff mixed in with your product. So what you do is you dissolve the product in a little bit more hot solvent, but then you let it recrystallize as it cools. So the solvent that you picked should only allow the product to be soluble at high temperatures. So because the product is only soluble at high temperatures, when the solution cools, the product will recrystallize out of the solution while cooling, but the impurities that are soluble at lower temperatures will remain in the solution. So then you can extract the product out of the solution as it recrystallizes and cools. So this step of recrystallization is very dependent on the solvent that's used. So the solvent that you use has to only allow the product to be soluble at high temperatures. So once the hot solvent is cooling, because the product is only soluble at high temperatures, once it cools below that temperature where it's soluble, it will recrystallize out of the solution, and that will be more pure than that initial product that you had. So because the other impurities are not only soluble at high temperatures, it will remain in that solution until the temperature is like way lower. So once you extract out that pure product, all the impurities will remain in that solution until that solution is cool. That's recrystallization to purify the product.